friend, how you doing? My family, what's up? This is gonna be a dark screen video because I'm out here on the patio. It's 12 a.m. Just gonna basically document this rant or my thoughts right now. I'm out here smoking, and I'm just sitting here thinking. I actually made a video a few days ago saying how I'm literally smoking a joint and it's saying how it's like my last joint I'm gonna smoke. And here I am, like 5 days later, getting high, which is not the issue. That's actually one thing I'd like to talk about. It's weird for me, for my mind and how it works, how hard I am on myself in different scenarios. And so, like, today, just with content creation in general, feeling super overwhelmed because I want this shit so bad. And then, so like a lot of the times, like if I smoke during the day, middle of the day or whatever, it does cause me to not be as productive as I would like to be, depending on what it is. If it's like having fun, being active, that's not a problem. Or if it's doing something I'm already, used to doing, it's not a problem. But when it's growing into something that you're learning about, and it's confusing as fuck, and you don't understand it, that's when smoking weed does cause me to do some analysis, or paralysis by analysis. I start to overthink. And then you get to evenings or nights like now where, and at those times during the day, I don't, that's when I'm super hard on myself and I'm like, God damn it, Logan, like, you don't need to smoke weed. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm super hard on myself instead of like having grace and understanding with myself. And it's such a hard balance to try to figure out. And then you get to a night like tonight where it's just like, bro, so overwhelmed, like creating content and shit. I literally spent the last 3 hours, 2.5 hours, just like creating content, moving content around, editing, posting. One, because I have all these different platforms I'm posting on. Two, because I have multiple accounts I'm posting on. And I'm just trying to figure out like the proper methods, what I should post on what platforms, how I should post it and where. And there's just so much shit going on in my head, and then I go and get high like I am right now, and fucking, it just like it relieves all that overwhelm, and it allows me to think a little more clear. But it's so weird how, at least I feel like it's more clear. Like I'm not as anxious or at least like frustrated in my mind. Like I don't have that weight on my forehead. But then on the same other hand, if I smoke during the day and, fuck up my work or my progress of what I planned on doing that day and start to procrastinating and fucking around, then I'm super hard on myself for getting high, and then I overthink negatively. It's, so it's like, it's so weird. I'm either, I get high and then I start overthinking everything because I get high at the wrong time, or I'm overwhelmed with all this other shit I'm doing, which causes me to sit there and overthink everything, and then I get high and I'm fine. And then I'm able to just sit here and talk to a fucking phone, no problem. Like just ranting for 4 minutes so far. And it's like, the fuck? I don't understand. It's like I just can't really figure out. Like I know my life probably would be better if I just didn't smoke weed, And so it still is something that I'm working on. Like I do plan on quitting. But it's just so weird how I have these different, complete opposite ends emotions of depending on when and how I smoke, what it causes me to do, mentally and physically. And that all comes from this evening being overwhelmed, which I just spoke of. But it's like I've always tended to overthink, and maybe even like saying that, like I don't know how to say it in the past. Like maybe I used to overthink because I don't want to keep overthinking. I don't want to keep saying that's who I am. I don't want to live with that identity. because it will continue to make me someone who overthinks. Like, you are who you say you are. So if I continue to say that, then I will continue to be that. So I continue to say I'm going to be a millionaire, so one day I will be. It's just a matter of time. Time just hasn't caught up yet. It's already happened. But I know it's like that's what I'm destined for. And so I just need to rewire my brain. Same thing with that. It's like, I don't overthink. I'm fine. I'm good. I make the right decisions. First try. I don't need to overthink. I don't need to think about a bunch of dumb shit. Because if I keep telling myself that's who I am, then that's what I'll be. And I want this shit so bad when it comes to being an influencer, content creator, just living off of who I am, like being able to have fans and supporters that not only, support me for free, which helps my brand grow in general, and, gets me more recognition and brand deals and stuff like that, but also fans that just support in general from their pocket. It's something that I just want. I want to be a content creator. I want to be somebody that is an influence of some sort in a positive way while also adding value. And it may not be positive to everybody because everybody has their own opinions on shit. Like, just me cursing, people could think that's fucking negative, but it's, it is what it is. Can't please everybody, but there's so many ways to create content, so many platforms, so many different alternatives to get there. And because my brain seems to want to be in a cluster, and I have so many constant thoughts, and I have so much ambition and creativity to want to chase all these things that it's hard for me, like it's almost impossible for me to really just pick one and do it. It's so weird. It'll happen for like a day or two, and then it's like after day 3, day 4, I'm back to just like trying to post anything and everything, and getting right back to like, it's like I literally will like have these type of days. I get high, I reevaluate, I think, I cool down, I plan out, I start down that plan, I don't make it but fucking a week maybe, and then I start right back at the same position because I just freaking like, again, instead of trusting, like even giving one direction of content, its path, and just giving it a chance for 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever, and just seeing what happens by just posting that one piece of content or style or niche or how many times you post per day of that specific style, etc., and just seeing what happens. I just keep jumping ship. I'm like, oh, let me just post this, might as well, let me just post this, let me just post everything. And then it's so hard to really grow a following, and I know this, that people grow much faster when they find a niche and just double down. But yet I continue to want to try to be an everything type of person, and I am an everything type of person. However, it is much harder to grow as an everything type of person when you first start. You have to introduce that later down the line. You have to slowly and that's something that I think I struggle with too, is like just social media in general. It's like I have all these passions, but for some reason I like just can't be okay with just posting one and getting known for that and then incorporating another. It's like, it's almost like I just have this need of everybody needing to know all this other shit that I do. Like, I skateboard, for example. It's like, why can't I skateboard in private? Like, why do I need to film skateboarding? But I do like posting that. That's like cool content to me. So I do enjoy posting that, but it's still at the same sense. It's like, why do I really need to post that? Do people need to know that I skateboard too? Why can't I just post? What if I just posted skateboarding content only? What if I only posted junk removal content? What if I only posted Amazon content? And for some reason, I am so worried about getting stuck and pigeonholed for being known as one thing that I won't ever be able to make it out and be known as other things. And then I'll just be stuck in this one fucking field or career or whatever forever. And at the end of the day, what I need to continue to realize and work on is that it is okay to grow a brand with a niche or a direction up until it doesn't work anymore or until you don't want it to, but don't sabotage yourself, like get to a certain point to where or that like visibly can see, like even if the people that follow me now, you make it to 100K followers, let's say, you make it to 100K followers and you start trickling in some new videos, even if a lot, they don't get tons of views, you're going to get more views on those videos guaranteed just because you have a bigger following base. Which is why you can get to a certain point of having 500,000, a million, 5 million followers, whatever it is, and you can literally just post anything and everything and just document your whole fucking life and it doesn't matter. But when you start off, it really is hard to like make it by trying to post everything. And me, for sure, I get so short-sighted that I think that that's what I'm going to be known for forever if it's something that I don't think is cool. Like if I was known as like the best skateboarder ever, which is, never going to fucking happen, then that would be one thing. But it's like, I don't know why, like junk removal can make a lot of money and I'm pumped about it. Amazon is making even more money for me and I'm pumped about it. But for some reason, like, I want to be known as Logan Carnes, as me, so bad that I don't, like, it's hard for me to allow myself to be known as the junk removal guy or the Amazon guy because I'm worried about being stuck known as that person instead of being known as Logan Carnes. And with that, being known as someone that does everything, but most importantly is an artist and a creative. Music and art has always been kind of my biggest passion, and I want to be in that industry. And now with this coming of age, I do feel like the quickest way is to fucking, be a streamer, is to document everything. And that's why what leads me back to this path and circle again, that, it's a full circle loop of like, if I want to do, for some reason, I have this fear of being pigeonholed into being known as one specific thing that isn't my main passion, like music and art, because that's what I would love to be known as, or just an influencer in general. So then I start to overthink of how and what to post to grow my brand. Then I start to think, okay, to be an influencer, you document everything, but I forget the part of growing in a niche faster in the beginning. Then I start this whole cycle of trying to post anything and everything, getting overwhelmed, getting confused, falling back into the cycle of like, okay, I need to chill, I need to reevaluate, do this again, blah, blah, blah. And it literally just repeats because then I'm like, okay, I want to be known for music and art. Okay, the fastest way is to be an influencer or a streamer. So stream everything, film everything, post everything. And then I'm working so hard on the ideas, what to post, and even editing and putting together all the content, that then I am stressed out and I just want to get high and forget it all. And I feel like I am just running in circles, not making any progress. And man, that is the toughest thing about the feeling of overwhelm. It's like, I mean, you just have to learn to be at peace. And I think overwhelm really comes from, like, overwhelm comes from not being at peace in the present because you're looking towards the future, wanting, these dreams and everything to come true, but you're basing your happiness and current fulfillment on, the if that happens or when that happens. And so you're not allowing yourself to just be okay and happy and love yourself in the moment, And trust that if you do that in the moment, you don't always have to be working hard or working on the business or working on whatever it is. You're allowed rest, you're allowed breaks, and if you trust in God, if you believe it's going to happen, then you don't need to worry. Therefore, there's nothing to overthink. Therefore, there's nothing to be overwhelmed about. Because that's where it really comes from. You start to worry about shit that hasn't happened, or you're worried how it's not going to happen, or if it's going to happen. So then you start to overthink about that in all these different fucking ways, and how you can change it, how you can, avoid it. And the thing is, it hasn't even happened. You're worrying about nothing. So now you're overthinking, and then you overthink and overthink and overthink and overthink and overthink. And now you are fucking stressed out. You are overwhelmed. And you're even more lost than you were before. And it is a downward spiral that I have noticed for sure, that when things in my life start to go good, for some reason I like to fuck them up. Instead of just chilling, not worrying, not overthinking, and just keeping on with what I'm fucking doing. Doubling down on what's already working. Why am I trying to think and do all this other shit when, one, it's causing nothing but stress and overwhelm in the moment, but two, if I really sit and think about it, or if you sit and think about it, and this is how we should look at everything, and it is a work in progress for me too, is, will I even remember this 5 years from now? Is this something that is going to, this feeling, this emotion, these thoughts right now that I'm having, are these really going to deter or define who I am 5 years from now? And if so, if it truly is that tragic or that bad, like if it's somebody dies, of course that can affect you and will affect you for years to come, because that person is no longer around if they're important to you. But if you get in an argument with your girlfriend, and it's not a serious argument, but you're stressing about it for a week for some reason, it's like, fucking why? When a year later you don't even remember that dumbass shit, let alone 5 years, let alone, even 5 months. And so it's like, there's just so many things in life that we need to, like, in the moment, right then and there, one, live more in the moment and be present, experience those emotions, but two, control the controllables and not overthink or worry about the uncontrollables. You can be a millionaire, you can want to be a millionaire or want to be a successful business owner or whatever, but everybody's path is different based on everybody's circumstances and journey and where they come from. And so everybody could have the same goal, but everybody is going to get to that goal differently and in different amounts of time. So if you put your happiness and fulfillment on that timestamp of, like, I will only be happy when blank, then you will never be happy, because you will even get to that point and then you'll want more. You will never be truly satisfied. And so when you learn to just live in the moment, which is what, the whole point of this video really is to not be overwhelmed. And that comes from being present in the moment and just having faith that God is going to work out, that everything is going to work out in God's favor, in your favor, in the right way that it needs to. When you believe that, and you just fucking chill and take a deep breath. And while I'm talking this, I'm talking to myself. Again, I'm talking to a phone, so, like, I'm the only person here right now. And so this is a message for myself just as much as anybody else. And so you just have to be present and allow God in and trust. Have faith. God is going to solve all of your problems. And you just have to understand that there is going to be no benefit from you worrying and trying to live or control something that cannot happen or has not happened yet and can only happen by time continuing forward. You cannot just skip into the future and to that time period that you're worrying about. And so you control the controllables. The controllables are going to be what you're working on right fucking now, on that day, the same day. And so I guess for me, I do want to slowly quit smoking weed and phase this out for another break and really lock in and focus. But ultimately, controlling the controllables, if I have one, I could not even have weed in the house and only go and get it or have access to it in the evening is the option. 2 is just being even a stronger person and just not being a bitch. You put it up, you put it somewhere, out of sight, out of mind, you don't think about it, and you just get to fucking work. And you smoke, or I smoke, when it's time. And that's all it needs to be. It doesn't really need to be any more than that. And that's an easy controllable. And then obviously quitting is a controllable as well. And so, man, this is why sometimes it's so difficult for me to figure out if weed is good or bad for me, because I've smoked for so long. But this was a great therapy session for myself, and I hope that you have felt something as well from this, because we as humans overthink so much, and we tend to think that we're the only ones experiencing these feelings, when again, we all have different lives, we all will get to our goals and live our lives differently, but we all are still people, and we all still have these same emotions. We just experience them or tolerate them differently. And so I don't think anybody in the world has ever said or could truly say they've never felt depressed or anxious or unhappy. Definitely happy, definitely glad to be alive at a certain moment in their life, and people have all probably wanted to die at a certain part of their life, but that's just like a fleeting thought. It's just a feeling, just emotion. And so we have to learn to live in the moment and understand that all of these thoughts, all of these things will pass. Time will pass. We will only grow with time. And so we just need to focus on what we can, control the controllables, have your sights on the daily goals that will eventually get you to your long-term goals, to the future. But when you get to the future will become the present when you slowly make that happen over time. And so my parting words for this would be that if you and that if I truly believe our lives are going to come true and happen no matter what, then we shall stop overthinking, stop worrying, and stop trying to control the future. And what we will control is the present, which is going to lead to a stress-free, peaceful life that we can enjoy because we're not overwhelmed as fuck, stressed out and depressed. We're happy, living in the moment, and able to look back at a fulfilled life because we are growing, we are kind to ourselves, we love ourselves and others, we treat ourselves with grace, and most importantly, with God we have faith. And we are able to trust that so long as we put the effort in every single day and that we have our mind set on these goals, God will steer the boat, but we have to row. We have to put in the work, and the blessings will come. With that, I love you. Have a great night.